to our customers and returns to our shareholders, end quote. There was a 4% growth. So with that, I really need to discuss that we have the 9th highest poverty rate in the U.S. right here in South Carolina. To triple a fee on South Carolina families without us being able to choose a different company to do business with, I feel is highly unethical, especially for a company that has a revenue of $23.6 billion, 4% growth for shareholders, and a CEO with a salary of $21.4 million last year. I think Duke Energy needs to take a step back and look at cutting some costs internally before trying to impose a fee on its customers that they cannot itemize for anything of value in a truthful or ethical manner. That is all.
Commissioners.
Ms. Knight, you've done your homework, and appreciate you bringing those facts to our attention. You're right that it is more impactful on those who are living below the poverty line. I'm wondering have you done any research in other states as to how they're addressing this issue? Because a lot of seniors and a lot of folks disabled. I'm just wondering how it's being addressed in other areas.
I can only assume that their commissioners are telling them no because they're not increasing over there.
Cynthia Knight, please come forward, and Felicia Barno-Bird. We haven't had that right. Who's on that?
Hello, Ms. Knight. Do you affirm the testimony you're about to give us here will be the truth?
I do.
Please state your name and address.
My name is Cynthia Knight. My address is 700 Mayo Road. I live in Calpin, South Carolina. And I am also against this increase. I get this little paper every month telling me how I'm doing. Even though I like to know how I'm doing. This is an expensive piece of printing right here that can cut y'all's cost a lot. I know you're wanting the increase for different things, but when I look at things that I get, I see the telemarketers that call me and want the power management program to work. I'm against that. I don't believe in taking somebody's power in the summertime and y'all only paying me $8 a month for 4 months. I think that's cheap on your part. This piece of paper right here is a 4-color process on 2 sides on a nice sheet of paper that only tells me I'm doing good or I'm not doing good. That could go in my bill and save not only a 4-color process envelope, a 4-color piece, 2-sided, which is very expensive printing. I was a director of printing for 29 years at Spartanburg Community College for the state of South Carolina. This could be black and white and put in my bill if y'all want to know how I'm doing, or if I want to know how I'm doing. It don't say nothing but that. And it's not only an envelope, it's the postage, it's the labor, it's the paper, it's the printing process, it's probably a third-party printing, which is even more expensive, and it needs to stop. I think this increase could be saved by stuff like that if you looked into your departments to see how your money's being spent. Also, the telemarketers that call me, they have to be paid. I don't think it's, I think some of it's redundant because I get it on my cell phone that I'm paying for, and you're also having somebody pick up the phone and call me once every 2 weeks wanting me to do a savings program. I have also an 89-year-old dad that lives with me, and I can't afford to give him without air or power. And I wouldn't do it for $8 a month anyway. I want to be just as comfortable as anybody else, but I do not think this increase is necessary. Thank you.
I have a question for you, if you don't mind putting back to the microphone.
Sure.
Would you be willing to give that page to the Office of Regulatory Staff?
Sure.
so they can investigate?
Just don't bill me no more. That's a four-color process. That can be all done in black and white. There's nothing on there that's important enough to be in color. Both sides, plus the envelope, plus the postage, plus the labor to do it. There's your money that you need.
I want to thank you for calling that to our attention.
And it could be in the bill that we get anyway. That's a separate process. That's costly.
Would Felicia Barno-Bird please come forward, and Wade Smith, you are on deck.
Do you affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? I do. State your name and address.
My name is Felicia, Phyllicia, Barno, Barno, Bird, Byrd. I live at 154 Floyd Street, Drayton, South Carolina, 29333. I'm not a fan of being in front of cameras. So the fact that I'm out here should say something. And anybody who knows me knows I don't want to be in front of these cameras. I have 2 mortgages. I have my regular house starting around about $50,000, and I have my student loans that are $72,000. I didn't jump out there and make any crazy purchases or do anything extravagant. I'm trying to live within my means. Salaries have been, the minimum wage has been $7.25 since July 2009. If you account for inflation, its minimum wage right now is $6.19. My parents are elderly. They live on a fixed income. My dad recently had some health issues not too long ago, and I was fortunate enough to be able to be there. But if they had not worked and had a certain amount of retirement, as a child, I want to step in. I want to be able to help them. And not being able to help my parents is stressful. Talking to my husband at night about, ooh, we're in love, let's start a family. We cannot reasonably think about starting a family when we have 2 mortgages and everything else wants to go up. Power is not a luxury. There are people who are on medications. There are people who are taking care of elderly parents, families, disabled children. And you want to take something that is a necessity. And then even when people do the right thing and get these solar panels that are $30,000, and they're also getting ready to experience increases, it's not right. I live in South Carolina and I love being here. We're in the Bible Belt, people. And if you are going to church and talking to Jesus or whoever you talk to, Jesus would tell you that this is not right. There are 2 commandments, and I know I can talk comfortably in South Carolina because we believe in religion around here. To love God with all your heart and to love your neighbor as yourself. It sums up all the prophets, the laws, and everything I'm supposed to do. And the idea that we are even entertaining this idea and minimum wage hasn't gone up, and it's not like South Carolina is preparing us. South Carolina is at $7.25 just like the federal government. Now, they don't deserve a raise until we get one. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wade Smith, would you come forward, please? Philip Stone, you're on deck.
Do you affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
State your name and address.
My name is Wynn Smith, 2180 Highway 56 in Spartanburg, 29302. Public Service Commission members, fellow Duke Energy customers, and Duke Energy representatives, ouch! Do you know what it's like not to be able to pay your power bill? Have you had to decide between paying for food or paying for your power? I have an average income, I have an average power bill, but if these massive proposed rate hikes take place, I'm going to be faced with this decision. Average wage earners like me will be faced with power bills that they cannot pay, and think of the impact that it's going to have on low income and fixed income customers. I have 3 Duke Power bills every month. I have a home, a workshop, and a lighting bill. This proposed change to the residential basic facilities flat charge to $28 per month per bill is going to be excessive. It's burdensome and it discourages energy conservation. There's nothing I can do to make that any lower. It's a 237.8 increase in the current fee. This would make it the highest residential facilities fee of any publicly held utility in the nation. Why is one of the poorest states in the country potentially being burdened with one of the highest electric rates? I think I know. Because Duke needs to pay for litigation expenses attributed to legal actions related to mismanagement of coal ash facilities. Because Duke needs money to pay for the abandoned Gaffney facility. Because Duke wants to help shareholders at the expense of their own customers. Ouch. Not on the backs of us, the residential customers. We can't afford this. Please vote no to the planned rate hikes. They're bad business. They're bad energy policy. They're bad for our state. And they're bad for us, Duke's customers. Yes. At a minimum, $536 additional to my power bill is something I can't pay. Please help us out. Ouch.
Hang on one second.
Ms. Smith, one quick question. You mentioned
Yes.
litigation expenses related to coal ash.
Yes.
Is that something you think the utility and its shareholders should take the burden of?
I believe the shareholders should take that. We should not pay for that. If the shareholders take a hit, that's part of being a shareholder, not part of being a customer.
Thank you, Ms. Smith.
Yes.
Any other questions?
Mr. Chairman. Ms. Smith, do you mind sharing with us what you said you had a home workshop and a lighting bill. Do you mind sharing what your average bill is or what it's been over the last year?
Average per month, I pay around $200. In the summertime, I pay around $400 currently.
Thank you. That's all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Smith.
Philip Stone, please come forward. And Claire Nettles, you are on deck.
Do you affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Please state your name and address.
My name is Philip Stone. I live at 246 South Spring Street in Spartanburg. First of all, thank you all for coming to Spartanburg to listen to people here. I've served on City of Spartanburg boards and commissions and have listened to irritated crowds of people as well, and so I appreciate your willingness to come do that. I am a Duke customer, and I am a Duke stockholder as well, and I oppose this request to raise the base charge over 200% because it would be a very steep increase to individuals, as we've heard tonight, who can ill afford to pay it. And I oppose it as well because it disincentivizes conservation efforts. As someone who lives alone and tries to conserve energy, I often use fewer than 400 kilowatt hours a month. And as a result, I frequently have a fairly low electric bill. Fortunately, as I'm hearing tonight, this would be the equivalent for me of adding probably about 5 months a year of utility bills in raising that base charge that much. And to me, it sends a signal that individual conservation efforts aren't really valued by Duke Energy. And I would echo the person who spoke just before me that even as a stockholder, I would say that some of those problems that have been caused it seems like those should be borne by the stockholders. Thank you.
Commissioners? Commissioner Howard?
Can you share with us some of your conservation measures you use in your home?
I have used all CFL and now pretty much all LED light bulbs. I open the blinds in the winter. Of course, I have natural gas for heat, but I try to open blinds in the winter to let the sun in and keep blinds closed in the summer. Use ceiling fans.
Any other energy
Energy Star energy efficient appliances. So I try to do my part.
Thank you. Any other questions, Commissioners?
Mr. Stone, I'd be interested in hearing more about what you said about just incentivizing customers for energy efficiency. Take that one step further.
Sure. I figure if the base charge goes to, as I understand it, about $28 or $29 a month, and then it makes the base charge a higher percentage of my bill, it means that I may be saving the same dollar amount, but that having that base charge as that high would seem like to me I'd say, well, it's already this much. I'm not. It makes me not feel like saving energy is worth as much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Thank you, sir.
All right.
This appears to be Mary Whiteclaw, or
Do
does
you,
that sound familiar?
do you affirm testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I
You're
do.
not sure about
State your
that.
name.
James Overton, would you be on deck, please?
I really didn't want to be here tonight. I drove in from Landrum. I'm at the age now where driving at night isn't my favorite thing to do, but I felt compelled to be here. I, like many of the people who've spoken, get the little energy things, and guess what? I'm below the energy efficient houses. I am one of the most energy efficient houses in my area, and I have done everything I possibly can to do that, honestly. I keep my heat at 63, which I know, because I can dress in layers, and it keeps company away in the wintertime, too. I don't leave a room without cutting the lights off. I've changed out every light bulb in my house. I put in energy efficient windows. I tried to get solar, but I don't get enough sun to get solar. And after hearing this tonight, I'm really glad I couldn't, because it would have been not a good investment for me. I went to one of these hearings in Columbia about 3 years ago with SCE&G, because at the time I was serving on a board, and I was interested in this issue. And what I really am disappointed to say is I don't know if you can say no to Duke, because I don't know if the legislature went ahead and did anything with the base pay load rate act or whatever they wrote that gave you the charge of always siding with the utility. But the utility is a monopoly. Now, I, like other people, even though I keep my heat at 63, I like to plug in my Costco warming blanket when I'm watching TV and doing things like that. And if I can't impact my own bill, because they're going to charge me 3 times as much to even before I even turn something on, I'm not sure what I'm going to be able to do. I guess I'll have to spend the cold months with my family and friends in Columbia and Charleston, and maybe in the hot months I can afford to come back to my house and just not use my second layer, my second story in the house.
Set us back 100 years.
Really?
Just burn a fire and that's all you're out.
Well, and I do. I have propane logs at a propane stove in a little stove in my bedroom upstairs, and propane logs downstairs. And and I use that for supplemental heating. My power goes out frequently, and not just during the snowstorms. I love the upstate. I wanted to retire up here because I love the country, I love the people, and Columbia was just too darn hot. So I've done everything I know to do, and yet I don't know if you even have the wherewithal where you can say no to Duke Power. But energy is not a luxury. It feels like it after I've gardened all day and walk and come in the house and I'm running the air at 75. It feels great, Don't do it. It's not fair. It's not right. It's time for people to stand up.
Did you know that the Base Load Review Act was repealed by the General Assembly after the nuclear fiasco down in Fairfield?
I didn't know if it actually was, so I'm thrilled to hear that. But I'm absolutely thrilled to hear that because I know that that's only fair. Don't appoint people and say make a good decision but then tie their hands where they can't.
Yes, ma'am. Commissioner Belton.
Ms. Nettles, thank you for being here tonight. You stated that your power goes out frequently.
Yes, and not just in the winter. I love the trees, but I've got a lot of trees, and when the ice comes, I know I better get out of town because the power's going out. But it goes out in the summertime. Last summer was particularly in good weather with no explanation. It goes out. I have to reset my clocks at least every other week where we've had like a little surge or something, and then my stove, the clock goes off. And it's like, I can't really figure that out. And it's not my meter because when I renovated this house, I had a new electric system put in and the box and all that, had the lines buried. But I had to be here because I know there are people in my community that will suffer because of this. I won't suffer, but I won't save as much and I won't donate as much and I won't do some fun things. But I know people who will suffer.
And when you say last summer, you're talking about summer of 2018?
Yes.
And you experienced outages?
Frequently, yes.
Thank you very much.
Did you report those at the time?
Absolutely. I've got Duke on speed dial on my cell phone. Absolutely.
Did you ever respond to your request?
Well, I mean, eventually the power came back on, but that even their reporting system is not customer friendly, because they tell you to. Your address is tied to landline, and I have to keep saying, no, the power's out, so I don't have a landline right now. So I have to put in the cell phone number, and when I called and said, could we just change this, there was a problem. And of course, if I'm going to leave, I want to get the updates on my cell phone, a text that, hey, the lights are on, it's 11 o'clock at night, you can go home. I don't know. But I think you really do need to take into consideration that why should the consumer pay for bad management decisions? They did the coal ash. I didn't do the coal ash. And guess what? When I make a mistake, there's no backup. My dog refuses to work. So, there's no backup. So I don't see how paying the CEO this much, asking us to pay to clean up coal ash because somebody didn't do the right job to begin with, it's just like what they did with the nuclear stuff. If you're making that much money, you got to be accountable.
Thank you.
James Overton, please.
Good afternoon, sir. Do you affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Please state your name and address.
My name's James Overton. I live at 65 Wild Cherry Circle in Lyman. And I'm mad. And I think everybody in this room is mad. It's greed. Greed, greed, greed. When a CEO makes $25,000 a week, I don't make that much money a year. I own my own business. If I make a mistake in that business, that's me. I can't tell my customers they have to pay me for it. Advertising. Why does Duke Energy advertise? Who else are we going to get our power from? It's a monopoly. We don't have a choice. And to raise these rates is nothing but greed, greed, greed. They made over $1 billion last year, and they want to stick it to the little guy. I'm mad. I'm mad that I have to take my time to come here. By the way, thank you guys for being here. And thank you for listening to me. But I'm mad, and everybody in this room is mad. Everybody in Greenville County, Spartanburg County, and Anderson County are mad. You got a lot of people that are mad. And I'm tired of it. There's people on fixed incomes. They don't have that extra money. Take it out of the Duke Energy salary, because I know 5 of them that make at least $2 million a year. Base salary plus, now the CEO makes $21 million a year, and some of that is benefits. But she brings home $25,000 a week. A week. So, any of you guys make 25 grand a week?
They can't answer.
Thank you, Ms. Coleman.
Thank you. That's my time.
Okay. Our court reporter has to repeat every word that's said in here, so when we get loud, it hurts her trying to make sure this is on the record. And we're gonna give her a break, so we're gonna take about a 10-minute break, and then we'll resume.